Hello beauties and welcome back to the Jolie Beauty channel. Today we're going to be showing you how to get this fun, colourful look with the Vivacious palette. We're going to go a little bit in depth with some blending techniques and also using the brushes from the Mythical Dreamers set to create this very blended, blown out look with a pop of yellow on the inner corner. So without further ado, let's get started and let's go back to the future. As you can see, I've got one side of my eye completed. I'm going to show you exactly how to get this look on the other side. We'll then finish off the face and then we'll kind of be back where we were 10 seconds ago, or the internet's confusing. So as you can see, I've already done my eyebrow just to speed things up a bit. I used our brow pomade in medium ash brown and the number 1 brush. Next, I'm going to carve out my brows. We get asked a lot what brush we recommend to do this with, and I would recommend the number 8 brush from the Mythical Dreamers set. This is a really nice flat brush. With my brows, I like to lie the brush this way, and then as I get to the tip of my brow, I turn it that way so it follows the natural arch of the brow. The trick to carving is to make sure that your brush is really saturated with your product, and that helps you get a really nice crisp line. Don't be afraid to keep going back in and just zhuzhing and neatening up that line. Then I'm just tapping the rest of the product all over the eyelid with the brush just to get maximum coverage so I get the perfect base for my shadows. I'm then going to use the number 1 eye brush just to smooth that out. This brush is absolutely perfect for making this base completely smooth and seamless. It's really good for concealer as well, and you can just see how airbrushed that brush makes this base look. Make sure that you don't go too high when you're blending out this base, because you want to keep that line that we've created underneath the brow nice and crisp. Base is down and we're ready for a little bit of colour. So for this look, I'm going to start out with 2 shades on the top lid, and I'm going to blend the darker colour, which is going to be Pucker, into a lighter shade, which is going to be Simmer. So first of all, I'm going to start with the darker shade Pucker, and I'm going to use our smallest blending brush, which is the number 7, just to apply this. I'm concentrating on packing this darker colour in the crease and on the outer V of the eye. You can see how lovely and pigmented this shade is, and I'm just using a tapping motion just to distribute that pigment exactly where I want it. I really wanted to do a lovely bright look today because I saw in the news that apparently the UK is going to have its hottest ever day recorded in February, which to be fair could be about 8 degrees, but it still excited me. Oh, I just absolutely love summer. Pretty much as soon as Christmas is over, it's all I can think about. So I'm making sure to pat this colour pretty heavily on the inner corner as well as the outer corner. Not going too high because we want to keep enough space for that orange to go above. So I've got that colour exactly where I want it, and now I'm going in with a clean number 4 brush, which is a slightly larger blending brush, and I'm just going to feather out those edges. This just makes it easier to blend into the next colour that we're going to pop down. I'm going in with the number 3 brush and taking the Simmer shade, really taking a very minuscule amount and lightly buffing that around the edges of that shadow, transitioning Pucker into Simmer. It's always best to go in really light-handed because you can always add but you can't take away. Now to get a perfect blend with eyeshadow, it's all about working the 2 products together. We need to go back to the same brush as we did before, which is the number 7. Take Pucker again and go back and deepen the crease again. And just keep blending those 2 colours into one another until they look flawless. There is such thing as over blending, which is when you take the 2 colours into each other a little bit too much, so they're not visible as separate colours anymore. So what you're actually trying to achieve is that both colours are visible as separate colours, however they seamlessly go from one to another. To be honest, this palette is just super easy to blend. So I'm pretty happy with the blend. Next, I'm going to go on to liner. We're going to add the yellow at the end of the look because we really want to add a bit of a pop. So we want to make sure that our liner is down, and then we'll go back in with the shadows. For liner, I'm taking the Illamasqua Precision Gel Liner and the number 10 Angled Eye Brush. I do have a really good tip for you guys. The other day I left my gel eyeliner without the lid on, naughty, and as you probably know, they dry out really quickly, like probably only an hour I left it and it completely cracked down the middle. And I've got a little tip for you if you want to revive a product like this. If you take a little drop of our UniGlow Elixir, you can just pop a drop in to any dried product. It will revive it without changing the consistency too much. So you can get way more uses out of eyeliners, pomades, or things like that. All the ingredients are completely eye safe. I just put one drop in, mix it around with my brush, and that's it. The eyeliner's back to its former glory. It's honestly like saved me so much time and effort from like having to replace my kit. I'm just gonna do my waterline first, and then I'm gonna do a wing. I like to do my waterline quite early on into the makeup because I do get like a lot of transfer into my eye, so I can wipe that away and make it really neat. Winged liner on camera, give me strength. Liner is like one of those things, like as soon as somebody's watching you, you're under pressure. It never really goes right, does it? Okay. The good thing with our brushes is it's got a really tiny, tight tip to it, so it makes doing the winged liner super simple. I always start at the edge of the eye and draw the wing in first. Always make sure to look at the other side just to check you're going at the right angle. The best thing to do is to plot the shape first, and then you can always go in and tidy it up with makeup remover or concealer. So don't stress too much about it. Always fixable if something goes wrong. I'm trying to create like a really elongated wing, so I'm not scooping it up too high. I'm keeping it quite neutral with the eye. Using the very tip of the angled brush to get those precise lines. Once you've got the shape you want, then you can go in a little bit more heavy-handed and lay down flat tip of the brush to really pronounce that line. Only thing that gets in my way is my eyelashes. Obviously when you're working on someone else, you can just get them to look down while you do this, but it's quite hard to do it without your eyelashes being in the way. I mean, I could look down and do it, but it's probably not going to be the best liner ever. Okay, so I think that looks pretty even to me. I think that's all the risks I'm going to take today. So I'm going to move on to the under eye. Because I want the under eye to be as bright as the top, I'm going to use my P. Louise base just underneath as well. I'm going straight in with the number 1 brush. Brush is really good for just putting this under here and blending it out so it's really smooth. Great, so that base is ready and we're going to go in with the shadows. I'm going in with Pucker on our pencil brush. This is the number 9 brush. And I want to take the darkest shade, Pucker, closest into my lash line. Next I'm going in with Simmer with the number 5 brush, which is a slightly denser fluffy brush, and I'm going to blend those colours together. I'm using a similar technique to the top of the eye. I go in with the one shade and then I go back to the other shade, and I just keep on layering until they are both visible but have a seamless blend. So back in with the pencil brush, layering on Pucker again, and then buffing Simmer underneath as well. Then I'm going in with a clean number 7 brush and I'm just blending the edge of where I've placed Simmer, just to give it a really blown out look. As I said, if any of the colours start looking faded, just don't be afraid to go back in and deepen them up. And really this layering is what gives that flawless blended look. Hair wanted to play. Speaking of hair, I had a little well, hair experiment, shall we say, the other day. I was just trying to tone down the blonde, but now I've ended up like kind of semi-brunette, and I'm actually living for it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like it, or did you prefer the blonde? At the moment, I'm kind of loving the brunette, so we shall see how long it lasts before the bleach comes back, probably. So I'm just using a baby wipe. I'm just going to get rid of the edges of that P. Louise base. This is because if you leave it to set for too long underneath here, it won't blend well with your concealer that you need to lay down on your face. So just get rid of it as soon as you can, and then just buff the edges out with a fluffy brush. So we're going to add that really fun pop of yellow to the inner corner. First yellow that I'm going to lay down is this one here, Zesty. I'm going to take this on a number 6 flat brush and just start working that into that inner corner. This yellow has some pigment. She's pigmented. I saw, I think it's like Kylie Jenner. Well, I think it was like Makeup by Mario, and he does this look on a Kylie Jenner where he just pops her inner corner with like bright yellow. I think it looks so pretty. It's a bit different. We do actually get like a few comments that the yellows look a bit similar in this palette, but if you look closely, Zesty is a matte yellow. Then you've got Orb, which is like a golden shimmer, and Sunshine is a shimmery, bright yellow. I'm going to use that to pop the inner corner now, so you'll see the difference in texture. These shimmers work beautifully with a wet brush, so just dampen your brush with a bit of spray first. And I'm just going to use the same number 6 flat brush just to apply this. It looks really nice if you do it a little bit on that inner tear duct on the lower lash line. Looks nice there. And then just bring it up your inner corner. Just a touch. Because it's a shimmer, it lets the other colours that you've laid down show through a little bit as well, which is really nice. And then I'm just going to clean up any harsh lines with just a clean fluffy brush. You can keep adding Sunshine and it will just get more and more pigmented. Has anyone got any holidays booked yet? I'm so ready for summer. Sunshine. Come at me, sunshine, I'm ready. So I'm just making sure the eyes are completely even, because on this inner duct, if they're like slightly off, it becomes like quite obvious here. So just making sure I'm taking the colour a similar distance into the eye to make sure they're symmetrical. So that looks about even to me, so it's time to put my last lash on. I'm using the style Arielle from the Slayin lashes collection. It's quite a natural lash. I didn't want anything that was too overpowering, and I really wanted everyone to be able to see how much blending I've done. Obs. I'm using the Lash Lock Glue, which is a clear latex-free waterproof lash glue. Once I've applied the glue to the band, I let it air dry for around a minute to a minute and a half, maybe more. I always check the tackiness before I attempt to put it on the eye. I'll just pop it on like that. Just using a touch of the Essence Lash Princess Mascara on the bottom and on the top lashes, just to push my natural lashes into those false lashes. So that's the eyes done. I am going to jump off camera to complete the rest of the makeup, but I did just want to share with you how I would now conceal around the design that I've just done. So I'm just using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is in the shade Light Beige. And then I'm taking that number 1 brush that I said was really, really good for blending the concealer in, and I'm just tapping the concealer into the skin. I'm just brushing it lightly up to the underneath, making sure not to overlap where I've just created that blend, and that will just give you a real seamless finish, and it also adds a little bit of a pop to the under eye, so it really makes that under eye stand out a lot more. And that's my new favourite method of putting down the concealer. I do absolutely love this brush. It gives such a flawless airbrushed effect, and you can just do that without disrupting any of the makeup that you just created. So everything from here you guys have seen me do 10 million times before. If you'd like an in-depth skin tutorial, then we did a really in-depth skin look in our last video, which you can check out here. Otherwise, let's hit the fast forward button. no. Someone's trying to sabotage me. Oh no. I may or may not have just broken the chair. So slow me down because I am done. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. We are going to be giving away a Vivacious palette to one of you lucky viewers. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is tell me down below which colours you'd like to see me play with next from the Vivacious palette. The winner will be drawn on the 30th of February. So good luck, everyone. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Mwah!